Well, Dave, first, Justin Robleski. I mean, 7 innings, 1 run. He's obviously coming off an excellent outing, but for him to now piece these 2 back-to-back, what does it just say as to where he is as a starting pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, he's going 8 innings and 7 innings. He's just going after hitters, attacking, and he keeps the pace of play up. He puts the ball in play, and these last 2 outings have been huge for the bullpen. Allows us to reset, and getting out of Coors Field 4 games and then to have a night like tonight was big, but he's come a long way.
When you look at Max Muncy and Miguel Rojas, it felt like those 2, I mean, essentially single-handedly got Jose Quintana out of this game. What did you like just from their performance offensively and how those 2 can really feed off each other?
Well, I think with Miggy, it was just great, being ready when called upon, and obviously with Quintana starting, being left-handed, it was good to get him in there and take the at-bats that he did. Moved him in the middle of the order, which I liked him right there tonight. And, Max just has always liked playing at Coors Field, and the numbers speak to it, and had another big night. And, with Freddie being gone and kind of just looking at the lineup, I needed him to be in there tonight, and he was more than happy to be in there and play 4 in Coors. And he hasn't done that a lot. In a 4-game series, we try to give guys a day off, but he was ready for it, and fortunately for us, he had a big night.
Was Rojas more eager to get the 1,000th hit, or you to pretend to throw the ball over the fence when he got it?
I think more of the 1,000 hit. He's been waiting for this one. This is a big milestone, and he's big on milestones and moments, and and he's done a lot of good things in this game, and so for him to get it was a huge thing for him. And I wanted to have a little fun with him, and I don't think I had enough arm to throw it over the screen anyway, but I thought I'd have a little fun with him.
Did he get or give the toast after the game for that?
You know what? I think, that's a good question, because he's kind of the glue and does all the toast, but usually we have the toast for winning a series, which we didn't do this series, but hopefully someone in there acknowledges that.
Does it feel a split here feel disappointing, or you just survive a 4-game set here?
You know what? I think that you never like to. I don't like to lose any games, but I do think that if you look at it in total, I think we just had a couple bad innings that cost us a couple games. But taking 2 from here, and then we'll play another division rival in the Giants for the next 3 games, and Yoshi's already there in San Francisco, hopefully resting, and feel good about this next series.
Is this about as well as it could have gone for Rushing to start the season?
Yeah, it is. It is, and the guys like him. He's comfortable, and he's we're trying to do a good job of getting him in there, getting him some at bats, and he's performing, and so it's good. It's good to see him smile. He's really hard on himself and expects a lot, but he's off to a tremendous start.
Well, Justin, it now feels like when you look at your last outing and this one, 8 innings of that one, 7 tonight, does it feel like you're just kind of in a groove and cruising along right now?
I mean, I'd say so. I think, at the end of the day, I'm going out there trying to do the same thing every time, and that's fill the zone and create contact and see what happens. I think, we've done a great job, and Will's done a great job back there calling it. The defense has been really good. The analytics people with the positioning of everybody's been really good. So it's been good. I feel good.
When you look at just their lineup, how aggressive they were, how did you, one, use that to your advantage, or just use that to kind of navigate through their lineup?
Yeah, I think it was just kind of noticing some things they were trying to do early, and just kind of trying to exploit that throughout the game. And like I said, we did a great job with, pitch calling and kind of feel for what we wanted to throw and what we wanted to do, and just continue to attack the zone and keep them off balance. So that's kind of what we did all night.
Can you feel that your team, whether it's on defense or when they take their at-bats, they're kind of feeding off how you're working quickly and keeping them involved?
Yeah, I think, again, that's something you learn just from watching the game, is kind of the guys that work fast like that. And, when you're throwing well like that and getting quick outs, I think the team, for whatever reason or one reason or another, I think it just helps that out. But at the end of the day, my job is just to go out there and get outs however I can. And, it's nice when they're coming quickly, but there's going to be days where it's grindier to get those outs. And so we'll take them how we get them right now.
Is there something you did to trigger at the start of this season to continue where you picked up last year to attack the zone?
I think it's just continuing learning myself and who I am as a pitcher, and kind of, things I need to do that are different from last year, especially in a starting role. It's just there's nuance to it, and again, like being a starting pitcher is a lot more about reading the game, and there's obviously a plan in place when teams face you. So it's trying to figure that out as fast as you can, and then try to exploit that once you find it out. So there's a lot of different things here and there, but I guess for the most part, to answer your question, it's been a lot of the same. A lot of just trying to fill it up and get ahead in counts and get guys out as fast as I can.
Coming at you live from my mom's basement in beautiful Pleasant Grove, Utah. This is the All Dodgers podcast, part of the Believe Network of podcasts, brought to you by FanDuel. My name is Jeff Snyder. It's not just me. I got two of my friends here, one of my friends and another person. I'll let you decide which one's which. The guy over there, let's see there, that's Clint Pasillas. Guy over there, that's Kevin Skinner. Together we are 3/4 of all Dodgers, because now Jeff Spiegel's part of the team too, but he's not here tonight. So if you're here for Spiegel, stick around anyway, because between the three of us, we may be able to be almost as good as Spiegel would be on his own. And what more can you hope for? Dodgers, all they could hope for, as we established last night with some hashtag math baby, all they could hope for today was splitting the series. They successfully did that, beat down the Rockies, and all in all, Clint, Justin Robleski, after his last start, when he went 8 innings, just allowed 2 hits, faced one above the minimum, dominant outing, looked like today was not going to be as good when he gave up lead, doubles to the first 2 batters he faced. Immediately as many hits and more runs than he allowed in all 90 pitches last time. But then he settled down, got through 7 innings on 96, something like that pitches. And it was not as good as last time, Clint. But when you factor in the Coors Field factor and everything, kind of exactly what the doctor ordered today.
Like I've been arguing for months, Justin Robleski needs to be in the starting rotation because of moments like this. No, it was impressive. Like you're always going to give up hits in Colorado. You're never going to have your best stuff in Colorado. I felt pretty confident in him last night because of that fastball and him keeping it up in the zone. And you mentioned, 2 hits, 2 back-to-back doubles to lead off the game. And I messed around in the Discord by saying, this is why I've been saying we need to put him in the bullpen. But he found something. He locked in from there, and 8 hits in Colorado with just the 1 run allowed, no walks. That's how you win baseball games in Colorado. You limit the damage, you spread out the hits, and masterful performance, I'll say, for the kid.
Yeah, and Kevin, last time after his last start, which came against, I believe it was against the Mets, right? Who are bad at baseball.
Bad at baseball.
Apparently.
and some people said, well, it was just against the Mets. And you can absolutely make a similar case. It's just the Rockies. We've made the case, though. It's who's on the schedule. But my question for you, Kevin, do you think Robleski can have sustained success without getting strikeouts the way he has in these? He struck out 5 batters in 15 innings in these last 2 games, but only allowed the 1 run. Will he be able to do that against a team that's better at baseball if the Dodgers ever play any good teams ever again?
So I think what we have on our hands, gentlemen, is a new Tony Gonsolin. This kid does not get whiffs. He does not get strikeouts. The 2 things he does right, he does not walk anybody, and he avoids barrels. His walk rate, 66th percentile. His barrel rate, 81st percentile. If you don't allow free base runners and you don't allow hard contact, which he doesn't do, you can get outs. So I think that's what we're looking at currently, because if you look, it's early in the season, so you can't project too much. But if you think about teams last year that put the ball in play, really just death by 1,000 cuts, Cleveland's probably the top of your list. Toronto at the end of the season ended up being at the top of your list because those teams did a good job of just stringing hits together. Yep. He had very good outings against all of them, and he continues to do so. So I think, I like the underlying metrics do not like him. Doesn't have an elite fastball, doesn't have an elite anything, But what he does, he gets outs and he avoids hard contact. So that's where we land, and that is more than fine for a starting pitcher in 2026. That's where we are. 2026.
Jeff, real quick follow on that, Jeff. I hate the Tony Gonsolin comparison because it feels very spot on.
Yeah, and Tony Gonsolin had his ups and he had his downs and is no longer around. And so, you live by the Gonsolin comparison. You may eventually die by the Gonsolin comparison. But that approach, if it was going to bite you somewhere, Coors Field is where it would bite you, that soft contact, because there's so much grass out there. And the fact that, he did give up 8 hits. It was definitely not the same dominant performance because Coors Field is a place you would love to strike guys out so they don't have a chance to bloop balls in. But all in all, I think of the difference between the versions of WAR between Baseball Reference and Fangraphs. Fangraphs bases it on mostly on strikeouts and walks and home runs. How well did you pitch based on those things? Whereas Baseball Reference bases it on the results. How many runs did you give up? Did you get the outs when you needed to? And I think they're both valuable. I feel like, for me, I always think Fangraphs is probably a little more accurate if you're thinking which guy is likely to be better going forward. Whereas if I'm voting for a Cy Young Award, I'm going to look at Baseball Reference because I'm voting on what happened. And I will take a guy who allowed 0 runs on over 8 innings with only 2 strikeouts over a guy who struck out 10 in 6 innings and allowed 4 runs. The other guy, the first guy, put his team in better position to win. I still think I'm nervous about Robleski. I would like to see a little more swing and miss because I don't know if I'm just being a negative Nelly, pessimistic Pete, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure this is sustainable.
Yeah, I can understand, especially in this modern game where people live by the homer and die by the homer. So it's a lot easier to try to strike them out so they aren't able to put bat on ball. Robo might be a little more throwback. Not everybody always went for the K. You have some guys that can get away without the strikeout ball. We've seen somebody like Bruce Dark Gratterall excel. Gonsolin probably had a little more punch in his game than Robo does right now. But I think right now what he's actively trying to do is just get some quick and easy outs and be the innings eater right now. I think I doubt he is not trying or is actively trying to not strike out dudes. Pretty sure he would prefer that. But he understands his value in giving this team 6, 8, maybe even 7 innings, but not 6 or 7 or 8 innings. Also worth mentioning, and Raul sent in a super chat about this as well. Defense was electric behind him tonight, with Alex Call playing a really, really nice right field, Santiago Espinal with a couple of really good plays up the middle, and Dalton Rushing. I guess he did more with the bat than the glove, but still, him not losing baseballs when they're thrown to him, which we've seen in the past. Cough, cough, Jock Peterson at first. Cough, cough, that one time Will Smith played first base, and I never want to see him do it again until he learns how to do it. But defense helps. Take advantage of it. Raul with the $4.99, we appreciate it. Dodgers infield has only 5 errors this season. They are good, and Robo is capitalizing with it. With them.
Dodgers are, I believe, tied for last in errors as a team. So
tied
it's
for
been
best. You mean like the fewest errors?
Yes, tied for the fewest errors in baseball right now. I believe it's the. Actually, I'm not going to even quote it because I don't remember the other 2 teams. But yes, I believe they are tied for either 30th or 29th.
And they said tonight on the broadcast, the Rockies came into the series with only 8 errors on the season, and then they made 4, maybe 5. I don't remember if it was before or after their 3rd error of tonight's game that they said they had made 4 in this series. It was a rough series defensively, and the Dodgers were able to capitalize on that a little bit. But yeah, just getting back to Robo, we do have 3 voicemails, and I didn't get a chance. They came in right before we were going, so I don't know if any of them are about Justin Robleski. So we'll probably end up talking about Robleski again later when we do some voicemails. But what the Dodgers needed after the last two games of Sheehan, whether you blame Dave Roberts for pulling him too early or you blame Sheehan for not pitching well enough for Dave Roberts to leave him in, either way, he didn't go as deep as we'd have liked. And then Roki Sasaki went even less deeper yesterday. Getting 7 innings from Robleski today was huge for this team. And then the offense doing their part so that they could just go to Edgargo and then something called Jake Eater, who, by the way,
we need to stop calling him Edgargo. He's been on the team long enough.
No. We're not picking on him. We're picking on Clint for being stupid.
Yeah, it's me.
Yes, I agree, but also
I do a lot of things throughout the day, and I didn't proofread that one particular graphic. Or I could just be like the rest of you people that run these and not make any graphics, and then you just look at our ugly faces the whole time. That's right. I tried to make the show pretty for people.
Ugly faces and blue shirts.
It reminds me of Tommy Boy when they're talking about, and the old lady says, "That's when the whores come in." And the old man says, "I visited a prostitute one time."
Is that the dirtiest thing Jeff's ever said?
A little bit.
A little bit. I think it's the dirtiest thing Jeff's ever said.
I'll say almost anything that's in Tommy Boy. Almost.
Jeffy want wingy?
Richard, what's happening?
Ever seen Tommy Boy?
But what I was going to say was, speaking of Jake Eater, he's on the roster because Edwin Diaz went on the injured list today. If you missed it, Clint and our friend Jeff Spiegel, new to the show, did an emergency episode this afternoon talking about Edwin Diaz. He will be having surgery on Wednesday, arthroscopic surgery, theoretically not major, should be back in a couple months, but still a big hit. But that's why Jake Eater was on the team, and why, the offense made it possible for them to get Eater right in the game. You saw he didn't do great. He gave up a run, but they were up by 10 when he came in. So it was okay that he gave up one. Speaking of relief pitchers coming in, did this feel like a Tanner Gordon, hey, go out there and throw your arm off, and then we're sending you to the minors tomorrow kind of appearance for the Rockies? Just 4 innings, 6 runs, 84 pitches in relief. And he's getting option. I did look. He does have one option left. So he's heading back to wherever the heck the Rockies AAA team is, like, tonight.
Yeah, that was good job, kid. I mean, those type of outings as well, how important they are to the boys in the clubhouse at any level. They appreciate that clubhouse, that Rockies, who I don't even know who their manager is now. I heard Nelly say the guy's name. It sounded made up.
It's something Schaefer. I assume he has a first name too.
But they appreciate that, and I'm sure he's getting a hero's welcome. Gave up 6 runs. I'm sure they didn't like that necessarily, but still, that's huge for that ball club because Quintana did not have it tonight.
Yeah,
or the Dodgers did have it. I don't know.
He's getting a hero's welcome and a bus ticket. So
just a bus, but they can't get him a Waymo. Do they have Waymo out there? Kevin, do you have Waymo in your area? Do you know?
I have seen a couple Waymos in this area. I will admit the first time I saw Waymo was I went to in Arizona. I went last year for a spring training game. Mm-hmm. Got a ride back from.
That's when you avoided Richie out there in spring training.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, of course. Who's Richie? But also
he's from Denver.
He's in Denver.
Dover.
I got a ride from the airport to my Airbnb in a Waymo, and that was a weird experience. I don't know how they take left turns onto like busy, thoroughways, but that's apparently not a question I need an answer to because they do it anyway. So, but it was weird. But to your original question, no, I have not taken one in Chicago. I have seen them though.
Well, good.
Sponsored, but not. We are not sponsored by Waymo, by the way.
No.
We'll take
Waymo.
their money.
I will take.
I did see one for the first time when I was in California last week. I had never seen one before, so it's that was fun.
Peculiar.
Yeah,
but anyways.
With that said, we mentioned the offense was a big part of this game. Letting Robleski just kind of work at his own pace and then letting the Dodgers use maybe the back of the bullpen to get through the game. We're going to talk about that in a second. But first, let's look at the odds over on FanDuel. Specifically, I want to look at the MVP odds. Shohei Ohtani remains the favorite at minus 350. But I want to talk about some other guys, other Dodgers who are on the list. The next highest Dodgers are Freddie Freeman and Kyle Tucker, who are both at plus 5,000. Clearly based on things other than how this season is going so far, especially in the Tucker department. Will Smith is at plus 10,000. Then also Mookie Betts and Andy Pages both at plus 10,000. And then
Mookie and Andy?
Pages keeps moving up. We started the season plus 30. What last week, Jeff? He was at plus 15,000.
Yep.
Now
he's
plus
at plus 10,000 now.
The fact that Mookie and Pages are on the same level is crazy, considering one person's played the last 2 weeks and the other has not.
Well, that's what Jeff's talking about there too. The name recognition, the name value. That's why Freddie's up there, and that's why you get Mookie as an MVP favorite.
And there are three guys who aren't even on the list who we're going to talk about after we thank FanDuel for sponsoring the show. Max Muncy, Miguel Rojas, and Dalton Rushing. None of those guys show up on the MVP odds, but they sure did show up tonight. And I made this headline at the bottom of the screen before Dalton Rushing's second homer of the game. I might have tried to find a way to squeeze him in, but Muncy and Rojas were combined 7 for 7, 3 home runs. What does it say? 5 runs and 4 RBIs between the two of those guys. Plus a walk and a sacrifice bunt. They had a perfect night. And even Miggy Rowe's sacrifice bunt, he got on base on because the pitcher couldn't handle the bunt. Too hot to handle on the sac bunt. It was, Miggy Rowe got his 1,000th career hit, which was exciting. Muncy loves hitting in Colorado. Hopefully he's figuring things out, because the swing and miss had gotten a little bit concerning over the past few days before they got to Colorado. And then Dalton Rushing, 2 home runs late in the game. Just all in all, the bottom of the lineup. What did they say? They were like 10 for 17 with all 5 homers, the 6 through 9 hitters tonight. You'll take that from the bottom of your lineup, huh?
Yeah, this bottom of the lineup just continues to perform, and it doesn't really matter who's in there. I mean, you drop a multi-hit game for Santiago Espinal, who is probably the most forgotten player on this list. Dalton Rushing batting in the 9-hole. You would think Alex Call would almost be that guy, but I love Alex Call, by the way. AC is my dude. Like, I love the game, but we're talking about the bottom of the lineup, not the number 2 hitter today. Miguel Rojas, congrats. 1,000 career hits now. That's pretty cool. You saw him get a little emotional out there at first base as well.
And Dave almost deked him a little bit. Dave,
honestly, you got to like that kind of levity in that situation, because a flood of emotions, a flood of like his dad just passing away and not being there, not being around for a career hit 1,000, like that meant a lot to Miggy. So Dave locking him back in, and then he almost gets picked off. Thank God for the balk. But Max Muncy, like, the numbers don't they don't agree with this, but for the overreactor in me, or overreaction, Muncy might be a 400 hitter at Colorado if he played there every day. The reality is, entering the game, he's hitting 256, OPS over 905. He has 19 homers now in 57 career games at Coors Field.
I have 16. Where do you have 19? I have 16.
Well, he hit 2 today.
That's 18. 16 plus 2 is 18.
Oh, did I say 19? I meant 18.
Okay.
I forgot I updated
math,
the number. That's
baby.
Why. Hashtag math. We say hashtag math. We should put it on a shirt.
Math.
Irregardless, he's very good at Coors, and now hit over 1,000 OPS on the season, hitting over 3. Maxwell Stephen Muncy hitting over 300 on the season. I love this. I love it deeply, man. Max is the man. But
you know what? You know what's funny is, like, none of what you said surprises me. If Max is over 1,000 OPS, doesn't shock me at all on a season. If he's over 300 batting average, it doesn't shock me at all over a season, because what he does really well is he works counts. He hits balls for average, which is surprising for a guy with his amount of power, but he also hits balls for power. It's just none of those stats surprise me, and I think it's why none of us were surprised when he was injured that last year that all of a sudden the offense tanked. Like, this is somebody, not to borrow the Chris Collinsworth phrase, which I don't love doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is a guy who literally drives the offense. He's really good at working a count. He's really good at taking walks. He can hit a ball when he needs to, like for a single, for a double, but he can also hit for power. Like, even when Max Muncy is wrong, for most batters, he's right. That's remarkable.
Or he's right there. He's exactly. It feels like he's very seldom in a slump, like a crazy slump,
like a true
extended.
Because even when he's at the plate, it's like, even if he's wrong, it's like, oh man, he might take a walk, but if he doesn't take a walk, he's gonna hit this ball, 450 feet. And that's what he does. And
the one area he could still improve in that some people are talking about in the chat right now, he has struggled with runners in scoring position. He himself has acknowledged that. He did get a double with the runner in scoring position the other day. That remains his only RBI. He has 8 home runs and 9 RBIs this season.
Didn't Shohei have like 10 home runs and 11 RBI last year?
Shohei's the leadoff hitter. Yeah. Shohei's not
doesn't matter. Like, it's a thing of circumstance. Like,
sometimes it is, but also
might think he needs to do it, but also, like, if he's not doing it because guys aren't available in front of him, or they're not getting on base in front of him, like, who cares? I'm not saying Max is infallible, but he does, from a hitter standpoint, does very, 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 very few things wrong.
Yeah, but this year he's batting .071 with a .378 OPS with runners in scoring position so far. It's a small sample size.
OPS?
It'll normalize.
No. .071 with a .378 OPS.
Oh, 378 OPS. Okay.
Yeah, he's been terrible. It's been 3 weeks. It's not a huge deal, but he has been terrible so far this year with runners in scoring position.
When a guy's on second base and Max Muncy's up, you know what I'm going to think? He can hit him in.
Yeah,
he can hit this ball.
And in his career.
I lose no confidence in Max whatsoever. It's, when Edwin Diaz, who we'll talk about eventually, I presume, lets a batter on, walks a guy on first and second, no outs. I'm not worried about, the outcome. With Max and a guy on second base, okay. I expect him to get him in because that's just the kind of hitter he's proven to be in a Dodgers uniform.
And Jeff, he's also, even if he's struggling right now, he's still a feared hitter when you're talking about that opposing pitcher. They don't want to groove one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't buy into that 071 average.
And that was kind of my point that, he has acknowledged he's been bad with runners in scoring position this year. For as good as he's been, there's room to improve. And I do expect him to improve because even if he just, I don't believe for the vast majority of players that hitting with runners in scoring position is a separate skill than hitting. And so he's a good hitter. He's gonna hit with runners in scoring position. And so I am looking forward to him progressing to that mean and figuring that out. Let's talk a little bit about Dalton Crushing, D-Town, whatever you want to call him.
What I love is I put that in my notes as well, Dalton Crushing. So
yeah,
synergy.
Well, good. 2 more homers today. I think it was really good for him because before that, he was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And then he gets 2 late homers after the game was already out of hand. They didn't really matter that much, except to his confidence. You could see, like, in the dugout, when he was his third at bat, when he was up there, and you could see him, like, yelling at himself, like, in between pitches, like, come on, dude, you're a better hitter than this. And just getting those couple good swings on the ball that go over the wall. He's got 7 homers now. He's second on the team in home runs. And he has, like,
27 plate appearances.
Yeah, probably 12th on the team in plate appearances. It's kind of wild.
Getting his money's worth.
Yeah, and he's batting .444 with a 1760 OPS. Both of those are really good. Just, hitting the ball hard. Somebody earlier in the chat, I didn't star this one, but I did star this one. David Lee says, what positions could Rushing play besides catcher and first base? We need to find him more playing time.
Jeff, we give you a lot of for your sake, garbage. Dalton Rushing is actually factually 12th on the team in plate appearances. He is 12th with 23 plate appearances going into today.
So wait, is he correcting you? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, he's saying I was right when I said 12th.
He was saying he was right.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's finally realizing that I watch the Dodgers. I pay attention to the games.
Since where?
Exactly.
Anyway.
Since
hey,
where?
I want to sidebar address Rosman real quick. So yeah, I crank down the energy drinks on the streams on occasion. I'll tend to nurse one over like 2 evenings or something like that. So this is the same one from last night. I'm not crushing 2 or 3 a day because I would be dead. Anyways, back to you in the studio.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I couldn't find that chat to pop it up there.
Jeff was right.
Yeah. But yeah, Dalton crushing. And I agree with David. They're going to need to find him at bats. I wonder if they might try the left field experiment again because Teoscar Hernandez, here's an analogy I used once on my previous show. I don't remember if it was about Teoscar, but I think it probably was. No, it was about Jason Hayward, now that I think about it. It's like seasons 3 and 4 of Lost, where I would watch that show and there would be 4 or 5 terrible episodes in a row. And I would get to the point where like, okay, if something doesn't happen in the next episode, I am done with this show. And then they'd have a banger of an episode and get me hooked again. And it wasn't until they actually decided how many seasons they were doing, so they had an end point, that they could start working towards the final resolution. That's how Teoscar's been for me a little bit this year, is like he'll have several bad games in a row. I'm like, man, I'm just ready to give up on Teoscar. And then he has a good game. And, tonight I was ready to give up on him. Then he got an RBI single where he did go with the pitch. It was a fastball. I'm not convinced that Teoscar Hernandez, somebody in our YouTube comments was yelling at us the other day, yelling at the Dodgers hitting coaches. Why don't you teach Teoscar to stop trying to pull curveballs? And I replied, I said, no, the problem is Teoscar Hernandez has no idea when a curveball's coming. And so he's not trying to pull a curveball. He's trying to pull a fastball and he's swinging and missing at a curveball instead. And I'm not sure that's like, he's always been a great mistake hitter. And, even right now with all the struggles, he's batting .268 with a .791 OPS. It's not terrible, but it's not what I want to see from Teoscar. And I remain nervous that it's not going to get better because I feel like if you haven't learned to recognize spin by the time you're 32 or whatever Teoscar is, you're probably not going to learn to recognize spin,
I mean, we've also seen him go on torrid runs. We've seen him carry this team. I have enough faith in him to have his baseball bat connect with baseball and ball go far in the postseason. He's expanding the zone. He's expanding the zone a lot more than he was earlier in the season. He's expanding the zone more than he should be. This is who he is. We know who he is. He's going to be a run producer for this team regularly. But yeah, I think you need to find a way to I don't want to say be selective because that's not his game. He is a free swinger, and we appreciate that out of him. But we're in a spiral. He's a streaky hitter, and we're just in a cold stretch right now. That's what I'm gonna believe.
And with him and Rushing hitting from opposite sides of the plate, like I'm not saying a strict platoon. I'm not saying you mostly bench Teo and only play him against lefties. But if Dalton Rushing, maybe they put the kibosh on that left field experiment because they just don't believe he will ever be able to play left field. But if it wasn't that, like I would love to see Rushing get a start or two a week in left field, along with a start or two a week at catcher and an occasional start at first base and an occasional start at DH. Like the dude can hit, and I would like to see him getting a lot of opportunities to do that. And I'm sure the Dodgers would too.
So
Kevin, your thoughts?
So okay, so the reason the Dodgers signed Teoscar Hernandez traditionally was he crushes left-handed pitching, which is not something the Dodgers lineup was ever built to do. You're thinking of guys like Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, both very, very good hitters in their own right, not good against left-handed pitching necessarily. Teoscar, that's his bag. That's what he does. The dude looks at a left-handed pitcher and goes, you know what? I'm taking that ball and I'm putting it in those seats. That's what he does. And he has done that with the Dodgers. This year, it has been a little different. Against right-handed pitching this year, he has an 871 OPS, whereas against left-handed pitching, he has a 635 OPS.
And that's
what
feels like what's missing right now for him.
So you can take that one of two ways. You could take that as he's not doing what the Dodgers signed him to do. You can also take that as if you're an opposing pitcher or an opposing team looking to face Teoscar Hernandez, who's prolifically in his career good against left-handed pitching, even in this down year, you go, you know what? We don't want to chance it. He's been down and he can still pull a ball. So they fear him and they pitch around him. Or you take it as we're going to challenge him with a right-handed pitcher where he's been very, very, very productive in a much larger sample size. It's for the Dodgers, it's unfortunately, it's a tough spot to be in. Because they have to think, well, you know, we signed Teoscar to be this left-handed killer. He hasn't been this year specifically, but he's at least making up for it all by being good against right-handed pitching. And I don't know what you do with that. It's a really weird conundrum to be. It really is. I have no idea. Because like what do you do? Because the top of your lineup is so lefty heavy. You have Kyle Tucker, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman. No matter how you slice it, you have three of your first top five hitters are lefties. Kyle Tucker he's not a splits heavy guy. Shohei is, but it's like a 1 OPS versus an 850 OPS. So it's really not a splits heavy guy. And Freddie hits everybody. So you have like three of those guys. And then what do you do with Teoscar? I don't know. But he's still worth the spot, whether it's hitting.
Yeah, he's not going. Exactly. That's where I was going to lead to. And Jeff, I want your thoughts on like moving him down. I was going to say this to Kevin. They signed him for the 2024 season to be a lefty killer. They re-signed him to be him in the postseason in some way, shape, or form, which he has done in both of his postseason runs. Been a big contributing factor. But the big missing piece here that you're talking about, Kevin, is there's no Mookie. You don't have that right-handed batter
in the middle of that four.
Yeah. But Jeff, I mean, at some point, it feels like Teo, if production warrants it, he's going to be moving down that lineup. You're going to be looking at somebody hitting 6th or 7th in that lineup.
Yeah, and maybe that's what he needs. You know, get some of the pressure of hitting in the middle of the order off him. Get it, get better pitches to hit. Whatever. I mean, you would think he'd get the best pitches to hit, being surrounded by other good hitters. But I mean, you're going to be surrounded by good hitters wherever you are in this Dodgers lineup. That was one of the lessons from tonight. But yeah, it's definitely something. But like I said, just like Lost would, then it would have a great episode and never quite gave up on it. And that's how I am with Teoscar. Like I'm never quite giving up on him because he does come through and he'll have a great game soon enough. And it keeps the overall stats looking good. And it keeps, and it provides actual value, like you said, whether it's in the postseason or even he gets big hits in the regular season too. Not everybody needs
fear factor.
Not everybody needs to be the consistent hitter. If you've got that ability to hit mistakes, you're still providing value in the middle of the lineup, at the end of the lineup, wherever he's batting.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't we start this off with Dalton Rushing
Well, yeah, because we're talking about getting more at bats for Dalton Rushing.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like if we want to like talk about Dalton Rushing a little bit, love him, should get him more at bats. He's crushing the baseball. Everybody who thought he should get sent to the moon was wrong, and Clinton and I were right. As our take was, be patient with him, and just let him develop as a 20. What was he at the time? 24-year-old. He just turned 25.
He needed some time and was in a role he was wholly unused to.
It's the worst role you could ever ask to be in as a Major League Baseball player. You are the backup catcher to an all-star / all MLB level player in front of you. There are no two ways about it. Like, Will Smith is as good as it gets. And there's no reason that the Dodgers should ever take at-bats away from him unless need be. And last year was really bad for Dalton Rushing. This year, he has made the most of it. And it, like, the bat we've seen is the bat that everyone who's ever watched him at the minor league level has seen.
I am kind of curious why you specified you and Clint and excluded me from that, because I've been driving the Dalton Rushing train for years.
I like not including doing things. That's fine.
Well, I respect that. You know,
that's his kink. Don't kink shame Kevin.
Speaking of not including people, we got some super chats, and that none of that money goes to Kevin. So let's read some of those.
Some.
We got a $4.99 super chat from our buddy the Enigma. It says Robo is making the Dodgers decision when Snell comes back all the more interesting with every single start. We talked about that a little bit on after his last start, that Roki has to be feeling a little bit of the pressure that, hey, somebody's losing a spot when Snell comes back. And Robleski is saying, I would like it to not be me.
And in the wake of the Edwin Diaz news, you know,
there's no reason to send Robleski anywhere. He has way too much value from this team. From literally,
well, more so to change his role. I think that.
Well, but he has They have no reason to send it down from any aspect, whether it be from a reliever role, whether it to be from a starter role. He's proven himself at one point or another more valuable to this team than Roki Sasaki.
Here's the chat I couldn't find before because I forgot it was a super chat from our buddy Mike Salas, $5 super chat. Where's all the trade Dalton Rushing and keep Ben Rortvedt in the chat? Let's do our annual update. We said Rushing's OPS in the big leagues is 1760. And
where's Benny?
Ben Rortvedt in AAA currently has a 481 OPS, which hasn't changed since the last time I looked. So he's not even playing in AAA.
This is all relative. Last year, Ben Rortvedt was 100% a better backup catcher than Dalton Rushing. And I don't think necessarily anybody here would disagree
he was
with
the
that.
hero.
Maybe
he was the hero we needed. He was the hero we needed at the time.
No, well, but like if you projected out their careers over 5 years, like everyone would pick Dalton Rushing. But last year specifically, Ben Rortvedt was what everybody needed, or what this team needed, the Dodgers needed. And so, as much as I love Benny Biceps, and I think he played an integral role in the Dodgers winning another the back-to-back championship, no, he's not as good as a backup catcher as Dalton Rushing. Shocker.
You don't like a 400 minor league OPS?
Don't tell it to Michael Conforto, who's out hitting Kyle Tucker right now. But anyway.
Big Cubs fan, by the way. Go ahead.
$4.99 super chat from 21 Eric LA said, I don't understand why you need Robo to be a strikeout king. He's going deep with a very decent pitch count. He's doing just fine. I totally agree. I just worry that if he doesn't have a little swing and miss, when he faces slightly better teams who are slightly better at hitting the ball when they do put the bat on it, you will want to keep them from putting the bat on it a little more frequently. That's my concern. So it's not, I don't need him to be a strikeout king. I love the results we got in the last two games. I just have that little nagging worry in the back of my head.
Roll that out there every 6 days. I love it.
I think what Jeff is trying to say without putting a timeline on it is in September and October, this is not a line. These are not metrics you want to see from somebody who's starting a baseball game. Right now it works because you're, facing guys who are trying to earn spots in a lineup necessarily, or you're fighting, you're going against teams who are just trying to feel out what they have in a team. But against teams that know what they have and are trying to win day in and day out, if he's in the bottom, if he's the first percentile in the strikeout rate, he will not last in September and October. I promise you that.
We got $1.99 from Raul. He said this is why the Dodgers didn't trade Dalton Rushing for Garrett Crochet. That was a trade that was apparently on the table. The reason the Dodgers didn't get Garrett Crochet from the White Sox a couple years ago is because they refused to include Dalton Rushing. Tells you how they felt about him. And yeah, we're definitely seeing some of that right now.
Was it not because the Dodgers wouldn't sign Crochet to an extension? I might be. I could be very wrong. I thought there was.
I think there was. There was some
clause
nuance to it.
Yeah,
it wasn't that direct, but kind of sort of.
I heard from the mouth of someone who was involved in the conversations that the big hang up was the Dodgers would not include Dalton Rushing. Okay. So
I trust
hell yeah. Sources. We love 3-year-old sources.
$1.99 from Enigma.
Spoiler alert, going forward, I trust all Jeffs on this show.
Oh, so that makes sense. On account of there are multiple Jeffs.
There are multiple Jeffs.
Enigma $1.99 says Teo will be platooned by the end of his contract. Possibly, we've seen them with other Hernandez's with postseason resumes that they don't necessarily need to play them all the time in the regular season to get the value in October. Got $1.99 from Ray Soto with no comment. He just likes to give us money, and we like him for that.
Appreciate
and
you,
then
Ray.
Last one so far, $5 from J.Y. Kim. Brandon Gomes had an expected one-word answer to the suggestion that Roki Sasaki could shift back to the bullpen with Edwin Diaz's injury. No. And right now, I agree. And I assume that if Brandon Gomes had said more than one word, he would have said, we are not considering that right now because we haven't ruled him out as an effective starting pitcher. But if Roki, a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, gets to the point where they have ruled him out as a possibility to be an effective starting pitcher this year at least, you absolutely could see him. But all that depends. We've got Evan Phillips coming back. We've got, what's his name? Brock Stewart coming back. We theoretically might eventually have Bruce Dargrado
Danny
coming
Duffy.
back. I believe. Write that down. 42-49. Kevin finally said something funny on this show. Oh, man.
Yeah, I just watched something about Cole Hamels talking about the end of his career, and I was like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was Dodgers legend Cole Hamels.
Yeah, Dodgers legend Cole Hamels.
And the people thought I was going somewhere. They thought I could be replaced.
Oh, man. No matter how many times on yesterday's episode we said Kevin is still here, he's still part of the team. So many comments in the YouTube. Can't believe you guys DFA'd Kevin. Why'd you get rid of Kevin?
They're all Kevin's burners, you know that.
And then there was also a lot of so glad you finally got rid of Kevin. But those were my burners. So
yeah.
$2 from D Nation Life. Multiple Jeffs, but only one Kevin. Well, two. There's Kevin Uhas, everybody's favorite Kevin. But he's just in the chat.
Best Kevin.
Yeah.
Best Kevin.
Yeah.
We love Kevin.
Alex.
We have over 400 people in the chat right now. Appreciate everybody
you
for
guys,
being here. Yeah,
hit
you guys
that
are
thumbs
awesome.
up button.
Thanks so much.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah. Please. If you don't subscribe, if you don't feel like it, just hit the thumbs up button. That means you don't subscribe, but you like what's going on.
If you don't subscribe,
or if you don't like what's going on, hit the thumbs down button, because then I know to DFA somebody, most likely myself.
Yeah, so we're gonna take Kevin upstate to Grandma's farm if you don't hit that subscribe button.
And C. Carrera says Crochet can stay in Boston. Garrett Crochet leads the major leagues in earned runs allowed this year.
He has struggled.
He's
he has
got a
struggled mightily.
7.88 ERA.
His arm is gonna fall off at a point.
Mm-hmm.
It has to. He's
Almost
gonna have
as if there
what
was
was
a
it?
reason.
Foreign bodies in the elbow. Is that what the Dodgers decided Edwin Diaz has? Yeah. Was foreign bodies in the elbow?
Yeah.
Walking away
Where
from all that.
Garrett Crochet is headed. Or they could do the hockey thing and just say an upper body injury.
Yeah. Hey, we got a couple voicemails. Should we listen to them?
Let's do that. Yeah.
All right.
Do the
Let's
thing.
start. I'm just going to go in the order that they came in. So we are starting with our buddy, Noah Ortega. Noah, as you know.
Well, what up, guys? It's Noah, as you know. And I got to say, guys, Robleski is so amazing. We are lucky to have him. I think he solidified himself as a starter moving forward. However, though, I do play fantasy, guys, and I'm not going to lie, man. This guy needs more strikeouts. Like, dang, man, give me those strikeout points. Which brings me to a negative. And that is, I feel like he relies a lot on the defense. They've helped him and saved him so many times. But, dang, I want to see more strikeouts. Anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Excellent. Thank you, Noah.
Appreciate the call from Noah.
I don't have the applause button. Do you have your soundboard hooked up?
I'll wind it up. Here we go.
It's something that the Giants relied on.
No, I didn't hear it.
No, it did
we
not.
Just golf clapped last time. Oh, there we go. There it is.
It's something the Giants relied on, actually, ironically enough, before Matt Chapman showed up, was because with Logan Webb being a changeup ground ball hitter, they relied so much on their defense, and now they can't. And I say that only because the only way to outplay your defense is just to make sure they don't have to play baseball at all. So just strike more guys out. We've mentioned, hopefully Justin Robleski figures it out, because in September and October, this ain't gonna cut it.
Whatever. He's healthy. We've talked enough, Robo. If he's healthy and they need him, we'll be happy to take somebody who at this point has a 1.88 ERA. Kershawian ERA right now.
We got our next voicemail from our friend Richard in Dover, Delaware, who has some feelings about Coors Field.
Delaware? That's closer to me than you.
Dover.
To the person who decided to build Coors Field at a mile above sea level, I have 2 words for you. Convicted felon. You should be locked up for life for crimes against humanity, for the desecration of the game. And that whole place should just be imploded. A couple of F-35 should fly over, drop some tomahawks on the thing, and just turn it into a parking lot and be done with it. Every time that we go to Denver, the only thing that I worry about is just, can we get out of there alive? Is anybody going to get hurt? Is anybody going to crash into a wall like Matt Kemp did, and so he was never the same again? But I digress. As far as the Diaz thing goes, the only thing that upsets me, and yeah, it makes sense that they honestly did not know because they would have never pitched him yesterday, is just the games that they play. They've lost all credibility with me because I don't know what's fact and what's fiction because of all the stupid games. And when it comes to injuries, Dave is just tripped all over himself, and he's a bad liar, and I can just tell that there's something wrong. How many times are they going to play this game? Just be honest. You don't have to tell us everything, but just be honest and upfront. So throw strikes, play catch, put the ball in play, and run the bases intelligently. See ya.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to think there is any dishonesty in this Diaz situation on either part. Like I said yesterday, Diaz, he said the first time he felt pain in his elbow was yesterday. And there's no reason to doubt that because injuries don't always come with pain. Sometimes they just come with, mechanic issues or, weakness or whatever. And so there's definitely no reason to think that Dave Roberts knew that there was something wrong with Edwin Diaz's elbow and chose to pitch him anyway yesterday, which I saw somebody in the chat say that earlier. I didn't pop it up on the screen because I didn't want to yell at somebody. That Dave Roberts really wants Edwin Diaz to be good at his job. He's not going to throw him out there if he thinks he's hurt. All he could do is take Diaz's word. I feel fine. Okay, let's see how it goes. And when it didn't go well again, and he said, oh, something hurts now, then they ran some tests. Yeah, I understand Richie's frustration with previous injuries and stuff. But also, I genuinely could not care less what information we get from Dave Roberts and the team. It's not, I don't know. I'm not making my decisions in life based on the health of the Dodgers. It's their secrets to keep,
Yeah, and this reminds me a lot of the David Peralta situation back in 2023.
That one annoyed me.
Well, yeah, it annoyed everybody because we all learned after the season that he was playing with a torn UCL or torn ligament in his elbow. But it seems like that where a player, isn't disclosing the length of the injury that they're having or the discomfort they're feeling because, they want to play. Every player wants to play. There's not a single player in baseball not named Anthony Rendon that doesn't want to play the game that they're paid to play. But sometimes it's worse than they are willing to let on. And so for something, close to the Dodgers perspective, David Peralta was feeling, he ended up needing reconstructive surgery in his elbow after the Dodgers lost in the postseason, and they allowed him to bat. And where it was like, well, maybe we should have let anybody else taken that bat. But it's the same with Edwin Diaz. It's, maybe he really thinks he could pitch. And it was worse than he let on, or it was worse than even he believed. And now he's at the other end of it. And you have to understand, like everybody has to understand, this organization is so conservative when it comes to the health of their players that if they know there's an inkling of an injury, that they're going to take the conservative side and either do surgery or just make sure that they're healthy. If there's a timeline of 2 weeks, it's going to be a month or, yada, yada, yada.
I think that was the thing too. Dave kind of was like, we need our players to be open and honest with us. And that's what somebody I just saw mention in the chat. Maddie Man said Diaz was not completely honest. Maybe he was, to a degree. Maybe he was saying, hey, something feels a little wrong. And they decided to take that, like Kevin's saying, conservative approach with it, give him those, whatever it was, 8 or 10 days off, 9 games off to try and rest it a little bit. And, putting him out there in Colorado, maybe not the best situation, but now we know at least it's being addressed now rather than down the road. But we're never going to hear this club be open and honest about everything that they don't need to be honest about.
Stanley says, no, you can't take a player's word. You use doctors to assess. And I think, you can't just run a full body scan on every pitcher every morning. Okay, you're healthy to pitch today. 99% of the time you're taking the player's word for it. If he says, I feel fine, well, we know your velocity's down, but if he says he feels fine, what do you even scan? They thought it was his knee. They thought maybe it's a lower body thing. So doctors assess that and, we don't see any structural damage. All right, let's throw him out there and see turns out it's an elbow issue, which didn't hurt until yesterday. I don't really see much that they could have done differently.
That's a really, really, really good point. It's if a player
why are you sucking up to Jeff so much tonight?
Oh, because apparently he controls my life and whether or not I get to be on the show. No, but from a medical standpoint, it's a good point where you have to listen to quote unquote the patient at a in a certain circumstance. If they're not willing to divulge information of how much discomfort they have, there's nothing you can do. There just isn't. If Edwin Diaz and to hit as much as he doesn't want to not pitch, says no, there's no discomfort in my arm whatsoever, even though the velocity says one thing, the Dodgers can't force him to take an MRI or have an MRI. MRIs, they're not invasive, but they are intensive, imaging procedures. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to force every player to undergo this just because they love doing it and because they have the medical capabilities to do so. It just won't.
Expanding on C. Carrera's comment about the head gasket, you bought the car and not checking for a broken head gasket or whatever. Every day, multi-point inspection. That's what I'm talking about here. We're going to check.
I've never checked the head gaskets on my car unless the car is showing symptoms that suggest there's an issue with the head gasket.
I've never checked symptoms on my car because I buy Japanese and I never have problems on my car. So therefore, Toyota, if you've ever wanted to sponsor a Dodgers related podcast, we're right here. We will absolutely accept your sponsorship.
Toyota, Waymo,
Honda, obviously Lexus,
take them all.
Toyota.
Couldn't afford a
What
car.
about
Named my
Korean
daughter
cars? Because I'm a Hyundai guy, specifically a
Hyundai?
Genesis guy.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with Hyundai. Nothing wrong with
we'll
Kia.
allow that too.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got one more voicemail from our buddy Raul.
Well, before
And he
Raul,
promises-
might I say, Jeff, you look very handsome tonight.
Hey, thanks, Clint. Keep sucking up. Raul promises he is not in the room with the dryer today. So let's see.
He did confirm laundry was done last night.
It's Raul. Don't worry, guys. The laundry day, it's done. So, the Rockies, remember, they're a AAA team. Robo shoved 7 innings, 1 earned run, making that bullpen take even more foolish. Sorry, Clint. Got to give a shout out to Miggy for getting that 1,000 hit in his career. Happy that he doing it. He made that milestone. Maybe I don't know. Now that I know this is the last season, like, we're gonna miss him when he retires. It's one of those unsung heroes of the team. And man, when Max is healthy, it's something that just makes this lineup even more dangerous. Just demolishing the baseball and and crushing too. Yeah, get that guy more playing time. Freddie, take the time as you need with your family. One last thing. All that cheese talk yesterday with Speaks makes me want to sit down in the kitchen and have 64 slices of American cheese. All right, guys. Bye.
Oh, you guys remember when Kevin was in the kitchen?
Yeah. I remember that.
Speaking of which, I have memorabilia now. Look at that. I got there's stuff. There's things.
I'm so proud of you. I mean, it still sounds like a little bit of a tin can.
Oh, fuck off. I'm buying rugs tomorrow.
Chief. You can't say
that.
that.
It's not Saturday.
It is not. It is nowhere near Saturday.
Not Saturday at all.
Man, we apologize.
I apologize, Jeff, and to any Jeff-related listeners.
We're drafting up the DFA papers.
Oh, man. We did just get one more voicemail come in from our buddy Alexander Rose. I am going to trust him that he, unlike Kevin, remembers the non-Saturday rules. I didn't get a chance to screen this, but let's see what our buddy Alexander Rose, what accent is he using tonight? Only time will
Alexander
tell.
Rose just crushed me in the chat, so I'm sure he's fine.
Here we go.
Alexander Rose, Kevin's burner #1, back at it again with another voicemail. Always good to see Kevin when he's on the show. Jeff, love to see you. Clint, your dog needs to start calling in, bro. He keeps missing the voicemail. Get in line, brother. I know you got the VIP access, but get in line like the rest, okay? Anyways, good to see Dalton get some love more and more as he's crushing it. Shout out to him for also celebrating, 420 and hitting over 420-foot home runs today. So that was cool. Anyways, everybody celebrate the national holiday that is today, if you do celebrate it. Anyways, guys, like the stream, subscribe if you're enjoying everything, and let's have another great year. Bye.
Yeah, I will say in honor of 420, you know what kind of car former Dodger legend Cody Bellinger really loved to drive? A Hyundai. It's my time. Thank you.
Did the Yankees play tonight?
No, they didn't.
Oh, that is a great question. Oh.
Cody Bellinger's 420 streak ended at 3 years.
Broken.
But it's also it's also technically alive.
Yeah, he didn't play on 420 and not homer, so I think if he homers next year, they'll keep it going. So,
nah, that's fair.
Somebody also mentioned, this is something for us to figure out, but somebody mentioned that the voicemails or the voice memos are playing in like mono. I had that issue yesterday. I had to fix it in post for the podcast. I don't know why. I don't know if if everybody is sending them in mono, which I don't think they can do, but something for us to figure out. Just a word of we appreciate when people give us the feedback. of letting us know things are off or wrong or
Yeah,
whatever.
That's good to know. I don't see a button here, but we'll have to see if there's something we can do to figure that out. So, because the audio is definitely better when they're voice memos than when they're voicemails. So we like that. We'll try to figure that out. I don't know what else to say about this, guys. You got? I do have another super chat from Enigma.
nice.
$1.99 says, "Such a great stream. Let's go 3 hours."
Not a chance.
$1.99 is not going to get us to 3 hours. I'll tell you that much. We appreciate
A second
super chat.
$1.99 might.
And if that one doesn't work, try
It's
a
real
third one
cheap.
and a fourth one. And
Kevin is real cheap. Now, the only other thing to really talk about is you did what you wanted out of the series. I guess technically they didn't stay healthy in that they lost Edwin Diaz. I think that was something that was happening before the series, but you escape. You don't lose a series, and now you only have to go to Colorado one more time, and you go face the Giants, which I'm looking forward to seeing the Giants.
So how do we feel about splitting the series in Colorado? You get a.
Well, I think we've
four-game
kind of
series.
already talked about that.
No, we didn't talk about.
I would
the
rather spin forward.
Well,
but
no,
if you have,
okay, we're going to spin forward.
if you have
but
a reasonable amount of thoughts,
I do. How
remember
do
the
you feel
voicemails are a minute now.
Yes. How do you feel about splitting in Colorado? Because this is not something we've done in 2 years. We've not played a 4-game series in Colorado. Is this something where you're because for me personally, I'm not expecting to go 3-1 in Colorado. I'm just expecting to get out of it healthy. So if we go 2-2, I consider that a win. But
I'm not expecting healthy. I'm hoping for healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, is that something that everybody shares? Or
I don't think I would ever be satisfied with a series split against the Rockies. I feel like the Dodgers should beat the Rockies in a series. I said the other day, it is harder to win a 4-game series because winning 3 games out of 4, even against a bad team. A lot of people yelled at me and reminded me that the Padres swept the Rockies, which is fine. I remain convinced that their one bit of anecdotal evidence doesn't overrule, the overall data. But yeah, I'm not happy with the series split. But after they went down 2-1, when the best we'd hope for is a split, and it was a dominant game today, an angry win, you might call it. I'm as happy as I can be, given where we were 5 hours ago.
Yep. Dozen on the board. I think that qualifies as an angry win.
Yeah.
All right. And then, because I'm taking over this show right now and, I'm driving it. So
Jeff, you
tomorrow. Yeah. Yep. Can you just cut me off really fast?
Hold on, Kevin. You're muted. Don't say anything good. All right,
So we have Yama versus Landon Roop tomorrow as the projected starters. Shohei versus Tyler Mahle. Shohei, obviously, with the 0.5 ERA because he's insane. Tyler Mahle has a 7.23 ERA. He's 0-3 for people who enjoy pitcher win-loss ratios. And then on the third day, we have Tyler Glasnow, 3.24 ERA, 2-0 versus Logan Webb, who has had a really bad start to his season with a 2-2 record, 5.40 ERA. What do you guys are you looking forward to the series with the Giants? What are you expecting in this series against the Giants with realistically the Dodgers' current 3 aces going against the Halloween costumes?
Landon Roop has been very good this year. I'm really interested to see how the Dodgers offense does against him tomorrow. Because he has been very good, but also he has pitched against the Padres, Mets, Orioles, and Reds. So, the Reds are good.
The Reds, I was going to say the Reds.
I mean, the Padres are 15-7.
The funny thing is,
but their offense is awful.
And he faced the Padres early in the season when they were bad.
They're still bad. The offense is just
the funny thing is his one
bad
bad game came against the Mets. He allowed 7 runs in 4 2/3 against the Mets. So he can be gotten to. So I think that was going to be
the competition.
And Logan Webb always gets up for the Dodgers. So
yeah,
it's always fun when the Dodgers play the Giants. It's a great rivalry. It is very fun. And even though There's not a lot of at stake in the division right now early in the season. It's always fun when the Dodgers play the Giants.
Jenny Vega is going to be at the game tomorrow. Our resident Giants or our Bay Area fan here in the chat. Send pictures, of course, to the Discord. What I'm looking forward to, as Kevin was bringing up, probables and all that, so I went to the MLB.com probables page. You got a throwback matchup here, gentlemen, over there in Miami. You got Dodgers legend, the bringer of James Tibbs, Dustin May going up against the sheriff, Chris Paddock. That's beautiful.
That's crazy.
6.98 ERA for Dustin May, 5.59 Chris Paddock. So it's a battle of the aces, brothers.
Shoved against the Red Sox, and that is all that matters. I think he went like 5 innings, like 2 earned runs or something crazy against the Red Sox, which is hilarious when you think of the grand scheme of things.
All right,
do you guys?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask if you have any. What are you expecting from the series? Are you looking for? I mean, I think we all can expect a series win. Is anybody expecting a sweep? Anybody want to go that far?
Honestly, this team this year, I'm expecting a sweep every series, even though it's not going to happen every series. I think the Dodgers are enough better than the Giants that they should sweep them.
I think this ends up being one of those 2 of 3 series. The Giants are going to find a way to use the Dodgers to get back on track. And by back on track, I mean they win one of the games and the Dodgers win 2. I don't know which one. I don't know. Logan Webb needs to figure it out. And Webb against Glasnow, day game. It's a local 45 start. Wind will probably be blowing out at Oracle Park or whatever they call it these days. Glasnow doesn't like he struggles when things aren't particular. So maybe
he just went like 7 innings and 1 earned run in this.
I know. I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see what would happen.
I'm with Jeff. I got to sweep. Right. I think Glass does his job. Shohei, obviously. What I like about this team is they're gonna throw a lot of splitters, and the Giants lefties are not great against that specific pitch.
I think you just say not great, period.
Well, yeah, and then Glasnow throws a really good curveball, which acts as a splitter if he throws it on the outer part of the plate. So I think just from a pitching standpoint, I think the Dodgers match up really well.
Red Hat in the chat said, "I like hydrated, Kevin."
They allow me to say things. So
hey, all right, last thing for tonight, tying together this Rocky series with the Giants. Jose Quintana's balk tonight to score the run. Did you guys recognize that?
No.
Jose Quintana did that same exact balk against the Dodgers when he was on the Giants in 2021, September 4th, because he does that windup where he is standing with his feet parallel in front of the rubber for his windup. And when you're doing that, the umpires assume you are pitching from the stretch unless you declare, I'm going from the windup. Back in 2021, Corey Seager was at the plate, Justin Turner on third base, and he scored on a balk by Jose Quintana when the third base umpire caught that. That time he ran in saying, did he declare? Did he declare? Asking the home plate umpire. He said, nope. And so they called the balk. Today's third base umpire just knew he didn't declare. They called it second time that Jose Quintana has given the Dodgers a run because he didn't know the rule that he has to declare.
We call that useless things with Jeff.
Yeah.
The type of thing that nobody needs to remember. But damn it to hell.
I'll tell you why I need to remember it. Because my son has that same kind of windup. And so I constantly remind him, remember, if you're going from windup with a runner on third, you need to tell the umpire you're going from windup and not from the stretch. And I learned that in 2021 when Jose Quintana, or at least that when it was drilled into my head. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Obi 1910 agrees. Dr. Jeff, that's awesome. Yeah. Yep.
What do you have a doctorate in again?
Useless knowledge.
Yeah. He gave it to himself. He made it.
Anyway, the main reason I had to bring that up is because otherwise we were going to end this episode at 67 minutes and we can't trust Clint with that. So now that we're up to 69 and a half nice minutes, by the time we're done, it'll be 70 minutes and nobody laughs at that number. So we mentioned the Discord a couple times. Jenny did promise she will put some pictures in the Discord. So if you want to see her pictures from whatever they call Pac Bell Park these days, be sure to go to patreon.com/realfrg, $5 a month, get you access to the Discord server. Thank you all for hanging out. Over 1,000 messages in the chat in this episode. Cool. Awesome. Thank you to the chat moderators for keeping this clean and awesome. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do that. Tomorrow, it will be Jeff Spiegel and either me or Clint. Probably not both of us, probably one of us, and we'll see which one of us. Spiegel will be running the show for the first time here on All Dodgers. Clint got him set up with the software today.
Yeah.
So